like to introduce themselves and say anything?
Well, we have our new employee, Carrie Miller, who has started upstairs.
Hello,
So
how are
basically,
ya?
Carrie's
Hi, Karen.
here to introduce, so she can be introduced to the board. So we have Margaret Turner, Mike Aronson, who is the chairman of the board, and Margaret's the co-chairman or the vice chairman, and then Bill Larson as well. So the this is the board of selectmen, and Carrie just started on Monday. So she's she's.
And she's
First
still
week.
here.
And she's still here.
And I'm still
All right.
So.
The longevity bonus. All right. Anybody else like to say anything? All right. We will continue moving on. Let's look at the minutes from the November 8th regular meeting.
Yeah, I had a couple of, let me get them out. On line 91,
Okay.
I would suggest we change that a little bit to along the lines of a $2,000 per day fine if the town fails to meet the plan submission deadline or fails to complete the work on time. It sounds there like there's only...
Oh, if we don't.
Yeah, and they can fine us for any reason at any time if we're behind schedule.
Okay.
And I want to, and I'd like to add that the Board of Selectmen is currently not authorized to pay such a fine. I mean, we have no authority to pay that money. And I'd like that in the minutes in case somebody wants to go back and read these things. Then on line 94, it talks to the, I think it's the town meeting or something. We're going to delete the.
94, you said, Bill?
Yeah, line 94, delete the. And I would delete the rest of that sentence as well. I don't think that's the reason why
Okay.
that. I don't know how the rest of you feel, but
We didn't, I mean, the basic objection is we didn't want to sign something
that we're unauthorized.
that would commit money that
Yeah,
we
that
were
we-
not
yeah,
authorized to commit.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really say that, and so I would just take it out. I just delete the rest of that.
Okay, to what point, Bill?
The remainder
Or
of that
just the
sentence?
rest of the sentence, that's all.
Okay.
Order is reluctant to sign the AO until after the money is appropriated by town meeting.
No,
Period.
hold on,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Period. Okay.
Okay, so just leave it there. And then get rid of it.
It could, I didn't like that citing that the DES could change their approval of the 500 plan and make us demand a more costly plan. That's not the reason.
No.
The reason is we don't feel we have the authority to do it, to sign.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
All right. Other than that, there were no other changes.
Okay, Margaret, anything from you?
No.
Yeah, I didn't have it. That was a confusing paragraph. All right, is there a motion to accept as amended?
I will make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
And do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Financials.
Everything looks good from our standpoint.
Mark, I had, in going over the financials, I had two questions.
Yeah.
Would you talk to the state revenue line? I mean, it doesn't appear that we're going to get anywhere near the amount of money we budgeted from the state.
We get all of that money the last week of December.
Oh, okay. So it'll come in.
Yeah.
All right.
It will come in. They set those numbers, so that's the amount they will give us.
Okay. And secondly, on expenses, the last item, capital outlays, we've expended about 30,000 more on that line. What
Yeah, because there were existing capital accounts that carry over from one year to the other.
Okay.
So we have been doing things using the capital reserve monies that we had from prior years.
Okay, to cover the shortfall. Okay, that's no problem. All right, thank you.
Mark, can you give us an example of a big one of those?
A big one of those is the water and sewer repair accounts that we've been using.
Okay.
We also had the money for the wastewater treatment plant generator that had been
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
appropriated. generator is now in place, so we've paid the rest of that money.
Okay. Good.
All righty.
Any other questions, Margaret?
No.
All right, let's move on, and we can move on to department heads. Hi, Brooke, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Well, we just had a nice weekend with Thanksgiving. We had got our regular numbers with our different activities, and everything went well. We have our planning going on for our week of after Christmas. We have a lot of stuff planned for that. Candy cottage, all the normal stuff going on. And we met with Special Olympics yesterday, and they are here this weekend, tomorrow through Sunday, with doing their training for March when they come back. And that's really about it, unless you have any questions for me.
Staffing level still good?
Staffing level is great right now in comparison. So
Climbing wall up?
Climbing wall is doing great. Now it's still up.
All right. And have we been paid our final payment for the boats?
We have.
And is that reflected in our numbers?
I believe, I don't know if it's in your numbers, because I just got this from Judy, like 5 minutes ago, which may be an update to what you have. What does your number show?
It looks like we collected 149,838.
Oh, yeah, and mine shows 153.7 as my total, so mine's slightly updated, so the number, I believe the final number is 43,500 for the boats.
Oh, okay. Compared to last year, do you remember what that was?
Yeah, at this time last year, we had collected almost 52,000.
Okay.
So the number that is showing there for rec department does include the boat numbers, so that is reflected in her total.
So what do we have, 20%?
20% for what?
On boat revenue.
Oh, we're down.
Yeah, that's what I said, off.
Yeah, we're off, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's 20%. But last year was a down year too, so you have to remember that.
So we've been sliding.
Just for 2 years. So yeah, that needs to be looked at and looking at what we can do for next year in terms of, you know.
And were we able to adjust staffing to reflect the downward turn, or is it just a mandatory staffing level you have to have?
It's
no matter
definitely
who shows up?
mandatory, yeah, it's kind of, you know, you have to have 2 people there at a minimum, so.
Okay, and everybody's happy and healthy for the regular staff?
Yes.
After school stuff's going well?
After school stuff's going great. Last year, we've gone up dramatically in after school programming. This year, right now, we're at 7,600, and last year we were at 4,400, and that's just that reflected about how many kids are participating. Last year we had about 4 or 5 kids, now we have up 13, so.
Oh, great.
I mean, that's a huge percentage of the school.
Yeah. And the pickleballers are happy.
They're very happy.
Gotta keep the pickleballers happy.
Things are going well, and yes, I am looking at next year what we can do new and different, and how we can sort of make boats, you know, revitalize boats a bit.
Is there any feedback from the Resort Association as far as other venue uses for the summer? Are all of them off, or?
Some of a lot of them are down. The bikes were not, though. Sometimes I compare us to the bikes, and they were not. So yeah, I just need to figure out what's going to make it new. I mean, we have a couple of ideas that we'll talk to you in budget sessions, but.
And have you asked the Resort Association for any kind of increase in reimbursement?
It's a big conversation right now.
Okay, because I know there are other people that are asking for.
They are, and I'm on the venue finance committee, actually, that's making those decisions. Because it's kind of a bigger animal, trying to see how we can be sustainable as the WVRA is sustainable to reimburse the venues. So I'm actually on the committee making some of those recommendations.
Okay.
So I'll keep you informed.
Right. Bill, anything?
No.
Margaret? Thank you very much. Nice to see you again. Jim?
Mike,
How you doing?
I'm great.
What we got?
Well, I'd like to start off by introducing the newest member of the DPW department, and Jeff, if you want to stand up. Jeff, this is Jeff Blake.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi,
Mike
Jeff.
Turner, Mike Aronson, and
Bill Larson.
Bill Larson.
Nice to meet you. Welcome.
And,
Welcome.
and he's been here for about 2 weeks now, and he's still here.
He's still here. That's good.
All right, well,
So it's I think Jeff is going to fit in and do a great job for us.
Terrific.
So, and with
Well,
that,
have
you
fun.
don't have to stick around. Never do. I think we've either plowed or treated 3 or 4 times with this wacky weather. As you can see, it's 40 degrees and was snowing when I came in here, so it's been kind of an early start.
Yeah, a little bit up and down, right? Yeah.
So, and the only other thing I have before we get to old business under well 3 would be the wastewater treatment plant generator is officially online and running.
Oh, okay.
How did that come in compared to the budget numbers?
I'm not sure. I haven't checked the whole entire bottom line.
Oh, did they run into any problems?
None.
Okay.
No, everything went without a hitch, which is good. Knock on wood. I know that Greg is looking into or trying to come up with interested parties for the removal of the old generator. Anybody that might want to be interested in getting that out of there.
How big is it?
Quite large.
Oh, okay.
It's heavy, so it would have to come apart in order to come out.
So what is it? I'm surprised that the generator would pass any code that'd be written today on the electric
I
side.
think basically, we're just gonna let it go as is. And
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Right.
And it's probably worth more
You
in
want it for a
scrap
buck,
than
you
in-
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worth
Okay.
more in scrap, I would assume.
Okay.
Unless you have questions for me, that's about all I have.
Well, we can talk about well 3 testing if you like. What's going on with the well?
We can do that. Yesterday, E.J. Prescott was hired to come in and pressure test the transmission main from well 3, and we did it just outside the pump house, the pump house number 1, the one right by the bridge. And the criteria was we pressurized the 8-inch main to 150 psi and wait and set it at 150 psi for an hour. And it passed with flying colors. There does not seem to be a leak in that line whatsoever.
That's the line that goes from the well
To the pump house.
to the pump house.
Correct.
And what's the normal pressure on that?
Normal operating pressure on that is somewhere around 110. Yeah, which would be system pressure at that point. So I followed the recommendations of CMA and we went to 150 and it held for an hour. We actually lost 1 PSI, which is way more than acceptable.
All right, so
Okay.
what is that pointing us towards now? Still looking in those plates?
Still, what will be interesting will be the results of the MPA test that will determine whether or not there is water, not groundwater, but surface water, getting somehow into the galleries and or into the well itself. So, when we get the results of that test, I believe we'll have the results in the next meeting, because I think Emery and Garrett will be here to discuss that with you.
Is that's the next meeting they're coming back in again?
I believe so.
Yeah, the December 13th meeting, and I put in the packet that I'd recommend that we bring them in an hour before the meeting so you can have a detailed discussion with them. Is that all right?
Right.
Fine with me.
It's okay.
All right, I'll schedule them for 2 o'clock on the 13th then.
Yeah. Oh, okay, 2 o'clock. I thought we had a budget hearing that day.
No, you have budget hearings
Monday,
Tuesday, and Thursday,
Okay,
and then we have the meeting with Emery and Garrett and CMA about well 3, and then the regular board meeting on Wednesday.
okay.
Is that going to work for everybody's schedule?
Yeah.
Well, the 14th is a problem for me in the afternoon. I'll be here anyway for the meeting for the planning board meeting, but I will not be here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, could maybe we meet after the planning board meeting?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That would be no problem.
Does that work for you, Mike?
I don't know yet. Hold on a second. So we need the 11th, 12th is town at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I just put these dates in and we can move the times around or whatever.
So the 13th, we're gonna have our,
We're gonna have, on the 13th, we have the dam review at 2.
No, it's
No, it's
12:03 at 2 o'clock.
and Thursday you wanna do, what time?
We were gonna do right after the planning board meeting,
And how long a meeting do you think that's going to be?
probably till at least 10, I'd say, right, Bill? Because you
No,
got
I'm
to
talking
make changes
about
to
our
the
meeting.
zoning ordinance.
I'm talking about our meeting.
Yeah, the planning board meeting, yeah, I would say it's probably, I think it'd be safer to say 11.
11. So just, if we could get an hour,
Yeah,
All right, I can do that.
hour and a half on Thursday,
Yeah.
that'd be
starting at
great.
11.
Yeah, because I gotta go babysit.
Okay. Can we plan for an hour and a half on Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe that's me, so we'll be quick.
Yeah, that's you, Jim.
Yep.
Yeah, and the capital improvement program, which
So
I
11?
don't expect that, you'll probably have a lot of questions. And so depending on what Emory Garrett and CMA say on Wednesday, we could be changing things around. So I don't see the week of the 11th being the end of the discussions. You're going to have questions for the different departments, and we're going to have to get you more info probably. So we'll have to meet maybe the next week or something to answer those questions.
All right, we'll just take it as it happens.
But the week of the 11th at least gets us started.
Yeah.
okay. The problem is gonna be that we really, the hardest thing, and they should give some thought to, is we wanna, in theory, set aside some money if we can ever figure out what's wrong with this well to fix it. But we have no clue, right?
That's right. We don't know what's wrong, but as we talked about at the planning board meeting in November, we have included we moved the money from 2019 into 2018.
And what was the amount of money that we moved?
400,000 is what we have there. So
Is that the
and I
dam
think
money?
part of the discussion on the 13th will be to make sure that they're comfortable that that's enough.
Yeah. And they will become prepared for this question and as to whether it's, whether the water in the well can be treated, or whether the well is, no, the well's gotta be clean of the E. coli.
Right, yes, we will get that answer from
Okay.
DES prior to the meeting on the 13th.
Okay, great.
All right.
Mm.
All right.
Some
So,
good news. I have one last question though. Well number 3 versus the new well, number 4. Which of those wells is bigger in terms of, which of those in terms of pumping capacity?
We are able to draw more from well 4.
So at worst comes to worst, we're better off than we were 2 years ago.
That's correct,
That's
because
correct.
we now have 2 and 4
2 and
that
4 in
are,
combination,
In combination.
exceed what 2 and 3 used to do.
Correct.
Okay,
that's correct.
Correct.
all right.
So, getting into the season, we should be just fine, barring any mechanical.
Right, well, we always have those problems.
And remember, we also replaced the pump at
Right,
Well,
well 2, so we have a brand new pump at
Right.
well 2, and we have the new pump at 4, so
Four,
we're
right.
in much better position than we've been for the last several years.
right. Okay,
Right, Jim?
That,
I mean,
that is good, without a
Christmas,
doubt,
Christmas, it's much better than,
without a doubt, Mark.
yeah.
Okay, anything else for us, Jim?
That's about all I got.
Yep,
All right.
okay.
There's no one here from public safety, so we can move on to calendar review. December selectmen's meetings.
Well, other than, we've now cleared up, I couldn't have done a budget review meeting on the 14th, late in the afternoon. 11:30 is fine. I just need to get out of here by 1 o'clock, so.
Yeah, I will update this list and send it out to you by email so that you have it, and and then if anything else comes up between now and the 11th, just let us know.
Okay.
Okay. We've done the
And so our next selectmen's meeting is on the 13th, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
That'll be after the meeting with Emory and Garrett and CMA.
Right.
That'll be a regular meeting, and if we don't have much business, we might be able to do some additional budget discussions if you want.
Okay. Well, I'm flexible that way.
Okay. Great. All right, so we attacked all the calendar issues. We have a sign permit to look at. It seems straightforward. Just replacing the sign on that building, correct, Mark?
Yeah, they're changing
The name of,
they're changing the name to Consolidated Communications.
Yep.
And so they're just replacing the existing signs.
I'm fine with that.
all right, Mark, are you fine with it? Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the sign application from, who is it? Fairpoint Communications?
No, it's not from.
Consolidated Communications.
Second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Done. All right, Corcoran's Pond Dam update. Let's talk about that.
Yep, I have a teleconference scheduled for tomorrow.
Yep.
Afternoon. That is with Ryan Wingard and the new engineers from Haley and Aldrich. Ryan just wanted to touch base with everyone prior to the engineers from Haley and Aldrich coming here to the dam on December 6th.
And their purpose in coming to the dam is just.
They need to see it. They need to look at the conceptual plan that Ryan has put together. They just want to familiarize themselves. The Haley and Aldrich engineers are the specialists on the articulated concrete blocks.
Right.
And they're the ones that DES.
Right, we have to use them because we can't use
the
our.
final design work on the blocks. So they need to come here and look at
That's
them.
fine.
What happens if they come in and they say it's 700 instead of 500?
And they say what?
It's 700 instead of 500.
Well, I don't think they won't talk in that level of detail on the 6th. They just need to understand what the ground looks like compared to the conceptual plan that Ryan has put together.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, they are starting from ground zero. They've never seen the dam at all.
Yeah, that's fine.
I would say that it'll probably take them at least a month or so to be able to say that type of thing, Mike. So we will have something definitely prior to any of the budget hearings or anything. That's what we're going to
just
talking to them about.
Yep.
They've got to verify everything by January.
Okay. All right. Now we have the letter here. We'll move on to correspondence, and I have a letter from Steve Doyen.
Yeah.
I read. Yeah. He if I'm not mistaken, what he's basically saying is, well, we're flexible,
Until
You
we're
know,
not.
if circumstances change, circumstances change. That's what we said last time. I'm still struggling with, they haven't answered the other questions, which is, would they give us till after the town meeting, the day after we get approval, that we'll sign that letter of, consent? Or, I mean, we're town council, somebody's commenting whether we've got, we're signing on behalf of the town, and we're spending money we're not authorized to spend, and I'm still struggling with that.
Yeah, no, I agree with Bill 100%. And the other question that comes up now is these people are coming on the 6th, and they're the ones who have to do the engineering for this. What if they say Ryan's plan won't work?
Well,
no, I'm just
I
taking it from way out in left field. Maybe they have a philosophical difference with the plan, and they go, well, we can do it, but we can't do it for 5.
Mark, did we have any input from town council?
Yeah, Russ Hilliard said, Jim and I spoke with Russ Hilliard, and he understands your concern. The commitment part of it that Bill mentioned, what you are committing to is carrying through with putting the warrant article on the town meeting warrant and presenting it to the town for the town vote.
right.
That is the commitment that you are making. You
Right.
are not committing a single dollar because you can't. You
Right.
do not have authority to commit money.
But doesn't
Because it hasn't been appropriated.
You're saying the order, my problem is the order by consent agreement that we're being asked to sign. I understand what you're saying, Mark. Seems to imply, though, that if we can't get approval, that we're going to get, we're open to being fined. He's saying no. Let's suppose you're right. We go in and make a best faith effort. We go in and say, look, we recommend the town approve this, and for some reason it gets turned down. All right?
Yeah.
Russ is saying that DES couldn't fine us?
No, DES will be able to fine us.
All right. And where do we get the money for that?
Not continue to take the steps that we're agreeing to in the administrative order.
Right. But
but if a town meeting does not vote for this in March, then DES is going to basically tell us you have to do this, and they're either going to let town meeting appropriate the money in 19, or they're just going to send an order to Department of Revenue Administration to add it to our tax rate.
All of which is totally legal. I mean, from their standpoint, the question becomes, so you're saying, Nanda, if this gets turned down, you're 100% sure that they will not, in any case, fine us?
That is what Steve Dion has said, and Russ has said, correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, but Russ said that it is highly unlikely that they fine us unless we are taking steps to not fix the dam, not taking the positive steps that we're agreeing to in the administrative order by consent. So the bottom line is if we do not sign this administrative order by consent, they're going to send out another administrative order that is not by consent. And when Jim and I were talking to Russ said that the AO by consent is a lot easier on us as far as
So
said
they,
Russ said the administrative order by consent is the best that we can hope for.
and they're not willing to give us 2 months.
I can go back and tell Steve that you're continuing to have concerns about it and that you don't wanna sign it until after town meeting in March. And we'll see if he says that they're gonna have to change it to just a regular administrative order. In other words, I'm gonna find out if they'll wait.
Right.
I thought that was part of the time frame from the last meeting.
No, I think we asked the
Okay,
question.
yeah.
I don't think they ever
Yeah, no,
agreed that they, I think we should ask.
Because by our side,
I'd like to have the money, I'd like to go and have the money in hand and say, look, we've raised this amount of money,
Yeah.
let's get something done now. You know, I have no problem then signing the administrative order by consent.
So what he has offered to do is they can't put it in the actual order itself, okay? If you look at the middle paragraph, he does talk about doing amendments
Right.
to the AO. If we got a, he says here, for all part of such circumstances could occur, the expectation is that the dam owners have carefully considered the scope and schedule, which we're doing now. That's why we're bringing in Haley and Aldrich. And the terms of the initial AOC are deemed reasonable to all parties, which, giving us until the beginning of 2020, the engineers say we can get all of the work done.
Yeah, I don't have any problems with that. And I doubt we'd ever get as far as, but when we sign the administrative order of consent,
Yeah.
not only are we obligated to pay the fine, we're essentially saying we agree that we will never sue you, ever, regarding this matter. We take away our right to sue. So if we get to the point where, you know, for some reason that we can't reach an agreement to modify this thing, I don't know what recourse we have. I mean, if they say you gotta do something, we're stuck with it. That'd be my legal sense of reading all these agreements.
Well, would you rather that I just go back to Steve and tell him to just issue the administrative order then?
No, we don't want you to administrative order. What we want is 2 months. What I'd like to do is present this to the town, have the town approve it, and then we'll sign whatever papers we need.
Okay.
yeah, I think we've shown great good faith by putting this money aside, retaining the firms that they've asked us to retain, working with this way. And we just don't have, you know, if we sign this and something goes crazy, we're committing to that beyond committing to the money to build it, we're committing to the $2,000 a day fine until we figure out what we're gonna do.
No, and I appreciate that they've sent the letter and that they're hung up on the same legal things.
Yeah.
You know, and I frankly wonder whether at this time, if we don't sign it, whether they'd be capable of issuing the other thing in a shorter period of time. You know, I'm just trying to get to the middle of March. That's it. We'll present it to town, and I'm fairly sure the town will, in all likelihood, approve it.
Right. Okay, well, I'll go back and tell them that we want to wait till March. And
Yeah, you know, if we get down to where they say, look, either you sign this or tomorrow you're going to have an administrative order sitting on your desk, then we'll debate it. But I'm still having the same quandary. I'm not sure at this point whether when Russ says we're better off having an order by consent than an administrative order. I don't know why. It's the same work. It's got to be done, right?
it's showing that we are working with DES. When you get an administrative order, it's because the town has refused to do what DES has said.
Right.
Well, we are doing what they said, we're refusing to accept the terms of how we how was,
The administrative order by consent is just saying that we are working together.
except
with
we're
the-
No,
not,
it
we're
says
giving
a
them
lot more
rights.
than that.
We're
It's the
giving them
problem.
all kinds of rights and losing rights by signing that.
Well, the other order will give them all those same rights.
Right,
We're
but
gonna
we don't have
the
to sign
same
that one
penalty
either.
per day and everything else.
I understand, Mark, but if we're trying to do this in a reasonable way where we're all on the same team, and I think the points that Bill is making are incredibly valid, that we don't have the right to sign for the town for things that are out of our control without letting the townspeople know.
Nor do we have the right to pay fines
That's
that we
what-
haven't budgeted for.
Right, I mean, I don't know where we're gonna get the money from, I mean, but we'd have to ask the town for the money, we'd have to hold an emergency meeting and alter the budget.
Right.
I think we're just asking.
Well,
for
I'd
reasonableness.
ask, I mean, if it then gets down to where they say, absolutely not, either you sign this or tomorrow, then we'll have to debate whether, which is better or worse. I don't know.
Make sure they know that we want to sign
We
an
want to sign
administrative
this
order
thing.
of consent. We just would like to do it on March 11th.
Right,
Right, and I have
After we
communicated
have-
that to Steve Doyon. I have told him that exact thing.
And that we, in fact, whether we have an order or not, are gonna go forward with talking to our
Right, we're gonna raise
townspeople
it.
about wanting
we're
to.
raising the money,
Raising the
even
money.
if they say, forget about it, you don't need an order or anything. We're still gonna go and ask for the money to fix the dam.
Right, yep. Yep. I understand.
All right,
All right,
so we'll move on
Ricky
to
is best.
All right, now the other correspondence we have are these community action reports, Mark?
Yeah, they're regular, they did basically inspections of our assessing records in conjunction with the revaluation, so Vicky and, yeah, right.
Well, it doesn't matter.
So they have been here inspecting our records as part of the reval. And these reports are issued,
And what does a
as part of
median, what does a
and they just
median
say
ratio
that
of
we-
93 mean?
excuse me,
What does a median ratio of 93.13 mean?
those are the 2016 numbers. Those are not the new numbers after the reval. Those are the numbers that we had going into
The reval.
the revaluation.
All right. And what is the median ratio means what? That it means we're 7% overvalued?
This means that we are 7% undervalued. So it says that if you have a house that's assessed at 100,000, it's actually 107,000 in the at full value.
Right.
And remember, these are the numbers that we had going into the revaluation
Right.
that we questioned the results of the reval.
Well, we asked the question of why were these so different than what the reval seemed
And
to
they
say.
are doing a new sales ratio study right now.
Oh, they are. Okay, so this is a 2016 sales ratio. Why did they send this in October of 2017?
Well, because they consider these are current numbers. These are current until they finish the 2017.
I got you. All right. Okay.
They just get carried through until the new study is done.
But none of this has any bearing at all in terms of what we actually have to pay in terms of state taxes. I'm assuming that.
The ratios and all that?
Yeah.
No, but no, it does not.
All right. So this is nice to know, but doesn't mean anything, these papers.
That's correct.
Okay.
All right, any more correspondence, Mark?
Nothing else that I
Thank you. All right, Chris is coming to join us, so we'll go back and ask Chris what's going on in public safety.
Obviously, we probably already talked about it, the mountain opened up,
Yeah.
last weekend. Looked like they had a pretty good, town was full. It was a very good, turnout for Santa and fireworks and stuff.
Yeah.
We had a couple calls over the weekend, you may have heard of an overdose. In the Packard
Drugs?
Road area, yeah.
Not drugs, not alcohol.
Right.
Yeah.
And we had an accident down on Route 49.
I saw that. Somebody ran into a guardrail or something?
No, they ran off the road and flipped their car.
Oh, even worse.
And there may be some charges coming out of that too, so. Those were our two major calls over the weekend. They were back to back, happened pretty much at the same time.
Is
As a matter of fact, the guy that called in the overdose called in the accident on his way out of town.
So the overdose is there anything unusual or surprising about that?
No, not with the current events, the current trend that's out there.
Now, is that a transient overdose?
No, not a local resident.
Okay.
Other than that, it's been pretty quiet. The Special Olympics is in town pretty much the rest of the week, doing various things. They started off with the Winter Games, kickoff. Winter Games kickoff was yesterday. The Torch Run Conference is in town for today and tomorrow, and then Friday the USA Games kickoff is in town. So Mary's kind of put together the whole week and planned all of the activities for the which is really nice.
On the police report, do we record the number of drug overdoses?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It'll probably be in our ambulance runs as well. But, yeah,
Okay.
we can break that out. I think we have 4 or 5
This year.
year to date. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
And is it
certainly a lot
the same
less
drug?
than limit.
Or same
Yeah.
form of drug?
Opiates. Yeah.
All right.
But other than that,
Said counts.
everybody's healthy. All our equipment's working. Oh, and our engine 2 is down in Manchester getting fixed as we speak.
All right.
All right, let's move on to privilege of the floor number 2. Has anything come up for anybody? All right, we'll move on from there. Board concerns and directives.
Not me.
I just sent something to Mark and both of you regarding a proposal
I can't
for
open it.
4th of July. You can't
Oh,
open it,
yeah.
4th of July concert.
Oh, they're still working on that.
And they're still working on that, so just,
Okay.
and they're gonna be in on our regular meeting on the 13th.
Okay.
So you can look over, what they're planning to do, how much they think it's cost, where they'd like the money to come from, and obviously they're looking for
They were
some help
talking
from
a
the
lot
town.
of money, right?
How much money are they talking?
I think,
I don't know what
if
they're
I
asking
saw
for
the thing, it was
town.
like between 65 and 70, but then they have,
1,000?
yeah, but then they
Elizabeth.
have, but
The
they
problem-
have
the problem to
private
do it.
donors.
Yes.
They
They
have
know, I have
private donors.
They gotta
like,
bring the orchestra in a week early and gotta
Yeah,
house and feed
They
them.
gotta
and-
house them and, and then they got all the technical set up on
Right.
the stage.
How much more would we do to get the Stones?
We could hire your son.
Hey, Boston Music Awards in 4 days, we'll see what happens. All right, great. Mark, do you have anything for non-public? Yes, I think I see Chris nodding. Mark, still with us?
Mark?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
There was another memo you sent
I was
out.
talking to you and you weren't hearing me. Yes, I have 2 things in non-public.
All right, I don't see another memo. I see Steve.
Well, you got a separate memo on that.
Right.
Oh, it's probably one in my trash.
Mark, do you need anyone except for Brooke for non-public?
I think hoping that you and Jim could stay for the second page of the non-public.
All right.
All right.
Oh, okay. And Judy's also here.